This is Tazi Solomayor coming to you with some very heartbreaking news. The name of this video is Savage and Scorned Black Father Sets Daughter on Fire. A black man from Springfield Gardens, Queens, chained the inside of the car where his 3-year-old daughter was. And he set the car on fire before running out of the car, catching partially on fire himself. And he jumped into a nearby pond. Even though he got burned significantly, he was not dead. He was in serious but stable condition. A couple of containers of gas were found and propane, which basically led authorities to believe that this was no accident. On top of that, the savage black male, I don't even want to call him a father, he had warned the mother that he was going to she would never see her daughter again. Those were his exact words. You'll never see your daughter again. And he was right. The little girl died a horrific death, burning to death, chained inside of the vehicle, so there was no way that this little poor 3-year-old gorgeous little black girl could get out. And meanwhile, this niglet who fled the car, he saved his ass and jumped into a nearby pond. My point to you is this. This is the savagery that is inside of the black race. Stories like this are common. That's the point I'm trying to get through to you. This is not a rare incident. Little black babies, little black girls, little black children, period, are savagely killed, raped, and abused by black males in sky-high numbers. Imagine the pain that little girl went through. I was asked to cover this story by one of my faithful subscribers. I'll give her a shout out because she brought this story to my attention, and I decided to cover it. Her name, my subscriber's name, is Lola Lux. Shout out to you, Lola Lux. And yes, this is heartbreaking news. Little black girls are constantly, this was a toddler, 3 years old, that's still considered to be a toddler. Little black babies and small children and women are constantly murdered in horrendous ways by black males. This is her father. Do you remember that story that I did on that black man that sodomized and choked to death his daughter and left her in the woods to rot? And I also covered another story where a man who was left to watch how old was the child at the time? She was 3 years old, just like this one. He savagely raped her with a gonorrhea-infected penis. And the baby was crying in pain from the burning of the gonorrhea, and the mother noticed that her vagina looked torn up and green pus was oozing out. These are the type of things that black males do. but they always want to yell out. But white people do it too. White people are even worse than us. How can we fix what's wrong in the black race if black males keep using deflective tactics and always pointing their fingers back at the white man? But guess what? When they point their fingers at the white man, they got 3 more pointing back at themselves. You know, these kind of black males are protected by the black community. Instead of being dealt with, they're coddled. They're protected by the black women in their families. You have neighbors who say stuff like, "Oh my God, this can't be true because I don't think he would do something like this," or "He's not that type of person." Really? Black males are dangerous. I've said it before. They have a high rate of out-of-wedlock birth rate. They have a high out-of-wedlock birth rate. They pump and they dump and abandon children in record numbers. So what makes you think that they would give a damn about their own children? This guy who set this poor little girl, whose name is Zoe Pereira. Zoe Pereira's father was in a heated custody battle with the mother. And because he didn't like the way things were going, he said to her, "You're never going to see your daughter again." And he pulls this stunt. He chains her into the vehicle from the inside to make sure she cannot get out. Then he sets the car on fire and jumps into a lake to save his own ass. What a horrific death. That little girl burned to death. Have you ever gotten burned by the iron? You got burned by a stove. Somehow you got burned. Do you realize how painful that is? A savage doesn't even deserve to die that way. That was a horrific, painful, excruciating death that must have filled that little girl's last moments on earth, filled it with terror and excruciating pain. Black males have proven to black women over and over again that many of them are savages. They don't deserve to be around women and children. My heart breaks over this story. I'm fighting back tears because a 3-year-old little girl killed by fire. Imagine burning to death and your own father purposely inflicting that kind of torture on you. He made sure his ass was near a pond, so when he set that car on fire, and if his clothes happened to catch on fire, he could jump in a nearby pond to save himself. I really don't understand the mentality of black men when things don't go their way. They act like children. This guy was clearly very childish in his way of thinking. So you go into family court, you don't get custody, the mother gets custody. So you take it out on the innocent child, little black girl that happens to belong to you. Black women are not safe with black males. I've said it again and again. They're not safe with them. The stories that I hear that black men do, it is beyond comprehension how brutal and savage they can be. He obviously did not care about his own daughter, because how could somebody possibly set a child, any child, on fire and then run for their lives, saving their own ass? These black women who continue to procreate with black males, They have got to be insane. You know, this is not going to be the last story that you hear like this. There will be countless others, because it seems to me like there is something innately wrong with black males. They commit barbaric acts against women and children all the time. This is not an isolated incident. We're hearing more and more stories like this, because now we have social media. Now people are aware of what's going on, and it's not just swept under the rug. And if it is swept under the rug, it is exposed first. I am doing everything I can possible to present you with factual information regarding how dangerous black males are. I take a moment of silence to say that's the fire department. I have a fire department right up the street from me. Let's take a moment of silence to usher that little girl into everlasting peace. She's another one of our fallen sisters who died an excruciating death at the hands of a black male. And what's worse is this is her own father. I want you to take a moment to really understand what black women are up against when they have children by these monsters called black males. I would never have a baby with a black male. Knowing what I know and see what I see around me, it's terrible what happened. But we must just come to an understanding of who we're dealing with. No more sugarcoating, no more making excuses. We have got to stop having children with these dangerous apes. We have got to stop trusting children alone with them, because in sneaks the opportunity for the child to get raped. We must realize what type of men we are dealing with. You know, white people have told us over the years, time and time again, about black males. And us black women, we didn't listen. We didn't want to hear that. We thought that the white man was being racist. But he wasn't being racist. He was seeing black males for who they are. And I think that you, even if you are the most pro-black mammy, even you know that this is a really disgusting story to even hear. I can't imagine what that little girl went through in that back seat with those flames licking at her skin. They said that the door handles to the car were melted. That's like being in hell, being set on fire. Oh my God, that is the worst pain. I'd rather go experience any other kind of, any kind of way to die. Anything beats being burned alive. The World Trade Center, when those planes crashed into the World Trade Center, on the upper floors. You had people who could not take that jet fuel, those flames, that inferno. They could not take it, and they jumped out of the high riser called the Twin Towers. They jumped to their deaths. And once they jumped, they exploded. Their bodies exploded like a watermelon. But back to the topic at hand. Setting someone on fire. There is no place in hell that would even accommodate a savage ape like this father. Hell is too good for a place like, it's too good for a place. It's too good of a place for a black male like this. I'm sure the little girl was overcome by the flames, and I pray to God that she didn't suffer much. I hope that she was so traumatized that she just left her body. I can't talk about this subject anymore because I am about to tear up. Poor little black girls and black women all across the United States suffer at the hands of barbaric black men. Like my nose ring? The last time I had my nose like this, I was 27. I like it. I miss it. Anyway, I want everybody out there to realize how savage black males can be. I am at a loss for words. I am choked up right now, and I am going to end this video before I start to. You know I'm a crybaby, so yeah. Like, share, subscribe, and please, please, please don't forget to comment. I want to hear what you have to say about this